Greetings Internet and welcome to Aaron Plays, and I hope you're doing fantastically well. In this episode I'll be continuing my look at Caesar's Legions, Scenario 1, the Conquest of Gaul, and we're just about to start, it says moving the counter up, turn 9. There ain't many Germans left, but there ain't much time. And the Romans are moving as fast. I say it's in the previous episode. I said it's becoming a bit of a bug hunt. Not a kind of the German war bands to bugs, but there we go. So let's go down to the map and let's have a look what's going on. Okay, there are not many Germans, as I say, left. I've got a little bit of a foray here, which will maybe keep a legion back for the final push. But these are the two areas where the Germans are holding out, the two villages. This here is denoting how long it's going to take. We're in turn 9 now. So at the end of turn 9, the Romans will be here. By turn 10, they could be threatening the village, the final village itself. But the Romans aren't as strong as they were. They still have a full strength legion there. Not a full strength legion there. Not a full strength legion there. So they've still got effectively 3 legions here. One way back here. Now, I think it needs to deal with this situation. So we're going to have 3 legions. Can they crack the last part of the German resistance? Well, let's have a look, shall we? Because it's into the Roman movement phase. And again, they can't quite get into combat. 1, 2, 3. Is this a full legion? It is. 3. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, that's not a full legion. Now, do we attack? This is in the open. Right, it's in the village. There is 1 legion here, 1, 2, 3. He can get in. And this is a half legion. Well, time's not on our side. 1, 2, 3, 4. In they go. I'm going to put that by the side. Because I'm very sure if I put it on the top, it'll go, whoop, fall over. I think we're quite happy with these auxilia here and here. That into that hex there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those guys move into that. Yeah, I was following the road, but there's no road. But they've obviously seen there's a really decent dirt track that could be made into a road. It's not particularly straight though. I don't know, would it be nice if they'd drawn the roads as straight, you know, with the prediction of the way the Romans are? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Again, just mopping up exercises there. We do have battle there. I think that's the Roman movement done, so we're into the battles. So we'll start with the northern one. Let's bring a little battle display and Humphrey back. Okay, so in this little foray, it's not in the woods, but it's not in the open either. So it's 50 Romans versus 24, 29 Germans. Now is that 3-2? Well, according to my Alexa, that's 1.7241, which is therefore 3-2. Okay, I wouldn't want to argue with her. Okay, modifiers, there are none, because the Romans don't get any modifiers because it's not open. Germans don't get any modifiers because it's not woods, and there are no leaders present. The eagle is technically a leader, but doesn't get any modifiers for leader. That's as far as I understand, anyway. Have I gone missing a trick here? No, it says Supreme Commander. Okay, yeah, the eagle allows them to break down. Okay, so we're looking at 3-2 straight. Okay, so the Germans can withdraw if they wish. Sorry. The Romans can withdraw. A 6 is a -1. So it's all dependent on what this big die roll. Oh, they get lucky again. I'm sort of almost willing the Germans to get something go their way, because they have been getting a bit of a butt kicking when it comes to the dice. Anyway, so this 6 gives a -1 from the tactical thing. So the Germans did do a little bit of a surprise. However, the Romans were more than up for it. So that 6 becomes a 5, up to 3-2. Defender lose 2. Okay. They're going to take that. That's 2 losses. Well, and now it's 50-24. That is definitely 2-1. They've got to fight on. 2-1. Again, no modifier. Right, so the Germans are going to get the option to retreat if they want to. Ah. They managed to jump ambush the Romans. That 1 is a -3. So it's 2-1, 0. 2-1, 0. All that effort and they get a no effect. But they're still there. That's the crux. They are still there. The no effect ends the combat in that hex for that round, or that turn. Okay. Moving now to the only other battle, which is this biggie. The assault on whatever this village is called. Romans can get a maximum of 2 legions in here. They haven't got 2 legions, but they do have. The Germans can actually have 5 units in a hex, which they do. So there we go. So we have 45 plus 20 is 65, 70, 76 Romans versus 10, 20, 30, 40 Germans. Just shy of 2-1. Okay, modifiers. It's in the open. The Romans are going to get +1 modifier. The Germans don't get anything for defending a village. No, it's only for a temple. So no. So that's it. 3-2 with a net +1 currently to the Romans. Okay, the Romans have rolled bad for a change. Okay, so that 5 makes it an extra -1, so that cancels that out. And they rolled a 1 on the 3-2 table. NE. That ends the combat for that round. With no losses, I think the Germans will be quite happy with that, because it burns another turn. There's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is, this is a bloody big stack, so I've got to be very careful I don't knock it over. I'm going to put the Germans on the top. go. And there we are. So I brought some more Germans here to funnel into there, thinking that the combat will likely not be over and reinforce, but no need. Interesting. And that is the only 2 Roman attacks on turn 9. So we go into the German turn 9. Well, they haven't got many units to move, have they? Let's keep trying to get these guys away. Do we put them back in the forest? I mean, I was thinking of maybe getting them over to here to help. I mean, that's a 1-to-1. 1, 2, 3. They're not even going to get there. They're not be in the open against the Legion. No. Let's put them back. We haven't got any light infantry, but hey ho. 1, 2, 3. Over there. There's cavalry. They could engage 1-to-1, but they won't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, more threat. Okay, moving down here. They can't there's 5 German units in there, so they can't reinforce. And we're now looking at this hex here. There is 1. What can we get? I mean, we actually haven't got that much physical strength. They're running out of counters. Well, what we could do is make that one a little bit tougher. Move that out. Move a 10-4, 1, 2, 3 into there. And bring... Let's make the crux defense there then. Yeah. The Romans are going to take both. Sorry, that was off camera. Sorry, I do apologise. I've actually brought Aristus here, reinforced this hex, but took out the light infantry, so it's now a bit stronger. And this hex is not great, but they've still got to take it. That's the German turn 9 complete. There is no battles. Moving the turn marker on to turn 10. Roman turn 10. And as I say, these turns get quicker because there's just no more troops. We might as well engage that. 1, 2, 3. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops. Why, whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this legion. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not going to take part in the big battles here. Okay, so what strength, because we could maybe reinforce the Romans, as considering it is the Romans' turn. What can we do about that hex? Currently in there is 1 full strength legion and a half strength legion, so we can get another half in there. Okay, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, in they go. And 1, 2. Right, so the Romans going all in. Will they be able to finish it off this turn? Let's start in the south for a change. Here we have 55 versus 22. 2-1. Modifiers. +1 for the Romans because it's in the open. That's it. Okay. Romans don't roll too well. So that 1, the 8 is a 0 modifier on here. That 1 becomes a 2. 2 at 2-1. AL1, DL1. They can take one of those. They can take one of those. Actual fact, they can get rid of one of the light infantry because it's not in the woods. So they take those 2, and that means that the attack ends. Okay. The big crunch here. This is where the decisive fight is. Right, so we have one full. Let's have a look what the Romans actually have involved here. I might have actually overstacked, but we'll soon find out. So we have one full legion, 2 lots of 20, and somehow we've got 3 eagles. Well, yeah, because these are remnants of 2 legions, aren't they? Now that's interesting. Or equivalents. 2 half legions equal a legion. But that means that those are overstacked. Because we can put into a single hex two legions or their equivalent in cohorts, or 1 legion plus 3 cohorts of auxilia counters. So the cavalry don't go in. And then we have the Germans. Okay. Now let's just double check about that 2 half legions. I mean, 2 half legions equal a legion. I'll allow 2 legions in the hex. If that's incorrect, let me know in the comments. Therefore, we have a strength of 45, 55, plus 40 is 95, plus 1 for Caesar, 96, versus 10, 20, 30, 40, 45, 2-1. 45 for 6, 47. Still 2-1. Okay, 2-1. The Romans get their -1 because it's in the village, which is not in the woods, and the 2 supreme commanders cancel each other out. Okay, 2-1. Oh, it didn't go too well. Oh, didn't it? 19 helps. So Caesar's definitely done something tactically good, but the actual attack was badly coordinated. Okay, so the 19 gives +2, +3. So it's 4 at 2-1. DL2. We don't need the light infantry in this, so we'll take that as the DL2, and we have the withdraw option, which we will take. Okay. Interesting. Have I got to keep breaking this down each time? Because now it's just going to be die rolls. Can the Romans clear that hex? I'm going to leave. I really don't want to keep overstacking this. So all that, apart from the cavalry, are in that hex. And that concludes. Oh no, there's one more other fight. This one here. Not sure how. That's 50 versus 2 lots of 12 is 24. 34. That's 1 to 1. They don't have, it's in the rough, so no side has its modifier. So it's a straight roll in the broken ground there. Okay, 1 to 1. Romans get a 2. That's 7 is a 0, and the defender can withdraw. Okay, so 1 to 1 with a 2 is no effect anyway. Okay, so that little tussle keeps going on, and I should have put the marker in the right space, but from memory wasn't in the wood, so it must have been there. German turn 10. What can they do? Well, I think we will go and try and pose a threat there. 1, 2, 3. Yes, it's going to be in the open, but maybe they can survive, get into that village and contest it. In here, they lost a light infantry. They can slot in a light infantry. They're not going to retreat. 10, 20, 30, 40. So okay. So it's basically now, can the Romans finish off these 2 hexes? We can probably throw a light infantry down in there as well. How many units? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's put 4 units in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. But the Germans are not attacking. They haven't got the odds to attack. So that ends the German turn 10. And technically, this video. I tell you what, I'm going to push on. I don't see any need. You know, it's basically now just a few fights in hexes. There's very little manoeuvre to go on. So let's go into the Roman turn 11. So up here, let's continue the pursuit. 1, 2, 3. We can get, yeah, let's get the full, we can get all of these guys into that hex. Let's try and finish that off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Getting the cavalry in there, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 legion moving down. Okay, 3 fights. It's coming down to die rolls now. Let's do. There's only really 2 important fights. That's these 2. So let's pull this one aside. The Germans have got nowhere to run now. So there's 45, 50, 56. 56 Romans versus 10, 20, 25 Germans. 56, 25, 2 to 1. It's in the open. The Romans get a +1 modifier. If I can find a 1 on this little d6. There it is. Right, okay. it's a big 20. The Romans have pulled outflanked by the looks of it. Romans and the Germans can't withdraw. So we have the 20 makes it +3. That's +4 at 2-1. 2-1 +4 takes it to a 6. That's half defender eliminated. They've got, how much did I say they got? 25. They've got to lose 12. And it goes into the next round. So we've now got 10. Yeah, it's now 5-1. Okay. Blimey, the Romans getting lucky again. 19 gives +2, +3. That's 6 at 5-1. Yep. The village has fallen. That's 5 villages now to the Romans. And now this big fight here. Will this finish it? The last bolt hole. Blimey. Okay, so we have 45, 50, 91. 91 Romans versus 10, 20, 30, 45. 46, 47. 20, 40. Just making sure I'm not making... Oh no, I've got this extra 5 here. Hold on. 45, 50. 60, 70, 80, 90, 95, 96 versus 47. 2-1. Just 2-1. All that really comes down, how many of these can the defender withdraw, you know, keep pulling it out of the fight to stop the Romans finishing them off. Not this time. However, that is a disastrous roll for the Romans. Getting cocky, the Germans ambush them again. That's -3. With that one, that's +2. It's a net -2. So that goes to -1 at 2-1. 2-1 -1 is AL2. 2 cohorts get chewed up somewhere near that village. Wow. So we now, that's 96 becomes 86 versus 47. It's now 3-2. Germans can't withdraw anyway, and they don't really want to. They can't. This is where this is it. Okay, and then the Romans pull out a big 6 and a withdraw and a 5. 5 is a -1, so that cancels that. So it's a straight 3-2 with a 6. Half DE. Ooh, disaster. Half DE. So they've got 47. So they've got to lose half of 47 is 20, 23, 23 and a half, so 24. 20. Can't do any less than that. There we go. But they have got the withdraw option, so therefore they're going to take it. So it's going to go into the last turn. Guaranteed they're not going to be attacking. So the Romans, can they finish them off in that last hex in the last turn? I'm going to do this one. I don't see how this is going to be decisive, but hey ho. Might as well do every combat. Okay, so we've got 45, 50, 55 plus 9 is 64. 64 versus 24, 34. That's a 3-2. The Romans do get their +1 though, because it is in the open. 3-2. Rolling the dice. Alright, so the 15 gives +1, so that takes it to a net +2. And Germans can't withdraw. So it's a 3 on the 3-2. 3-2 with a 3. AL1, DL1. Okay. Carries on. So we've now, it's probably 3-2 again. Let me recalculate. Okay, so the odds have gone up to 2-1. Back to only a +1 modifier for the Romans. 2-1. Oh, it doesn't look good. Oh, no. No. A 1. With a 1 is -3. So it's a net -2 to the Germans. And it's 2-1 with a -1. AL2. The Auxilia bite the dust. And the Germans choose the withdraw option. So we might get a last German foray into the other village at the north there. Nothing's over until, as they say, the fat lady sings. Man, okay. That concludes the Roman turn 11. The Germans, well, they're moving out of here and moving into here to see if they can take that village. If they can take it, then these guys have got to take it back off them. Down here, we've only got 2 units in here now. We're not going to counter-attack. There we go. It's the last village at the present moment. So there's no battle here. This village taken. So we go to this hex where the Germans are coming in with actual 24 plus 5 is 29 to 10. So it's 2-1. 2-1. We use the German combat dice. 2-1. They've got an 8, which is 0 modifier. They could withdraw if they want. Oh, they only get a 1. They only get a 1. Okay. So there's no. In fact, the row is a net -1 because the Romans are defending in the open. So that's a 0 at 2-1. No effect. They haven't retaken the village. And that ends combat, so that could be pretty much the end of everything happening up the north there. They're not fighting in the south, so that ends the German combat. You can see there's virtually no counters left on the board. And we go now into turn 12. The final turn. Can the Romans bring any more to bear here in this crucial hex? They have 2 half legions, a full legion, and no additional cohorts. They're going to pull out the 2 half legions, taking their 2 eagles with them. 1, 2, 3. They can bring a whole new legion in. Can they get any cohorts in? They're allowed to bring in an additional 2 cohorts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They could break down this legion here, which they'll do. Leave a 20 in there with its banner, the eagle, which gives them another 4 5/5s, of which they can get 2 with that one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exactly 5 away. So the Romans will be at maximum strength in that encounter. Over here, they've got to wipe those pesky Germans out. They move in there. So again, it's 2 big battles. The crucial one is this. There's nothing more the Romans can do. They've got to wipe out these guys to take control of the village. But now I need to just find what they mean by that word, menace. Let's go with the victory conditions. As Caesar, you must take and hold undisputed all 6 villages west of the Rhine and north of Rhone, without losing an eagle or Caesar within 12 game turns. Note, to hold or menace, and it uses that word, a village, you must occupy the village hex at game end without playing a withdraw tactical card in your half of the 12th turn. As the Germans, you must maintain a fighting force west of the Rhine, causing Caesar enough casualties and embarrassment that, afraid of a recall from Rome, he will offer a separate peace. And if you capture an eagle, regardless of how long you hold it, you automatically win. Okay, so it's that keyword menace, and I've looked on the, I couldn't find anything, and then when I was reading ahead into some of the scenarios, I've noticed at the back there was an appendices, and it has the word menace there. Question: how do you menace a village in scenario 1? And the answer, which I think is more confusing than anything, is this: note that the German player does not have to hold the village hex free of Roman control, nor even be the last to have undisputed control of it. He need only occupy the hex so as to pose a threat to the village. It is a Roman player's job to establish sole possession. Now, a big problem is this dice, because any shield and they would withdraw, but they would still be in that village, and therefore the Germans would win. Knowing that, if we were playing the tactical cards, there's that the tactical cards, if they were going to play a withdraw to maintain presence, the Romans would use a frontal assault, giving them a +3. Now let's have a quick look at the odds. We know the Romans are coming in, and I'm going to put them on the battle display, mob-handed. Okay, with everything they can possibly get in that hex. So they have 111, which is the maximum they can get in a hex. The Germans have 10, 20, 32, which is 3-1. Which is 3-1. So let's see. The Romans will get a +1 because it's in the open. 3-1 with a +1. If they get an 8, it's an automatic elimination of everything. So that's what they're hoping for. Let's see what they get. 3-1. I've rolled the wrong dice. So that's what the 14 gives, no modifier. And I rolled the German dice, but there we go. Okay, so that's 3-1 with a net 3. 3-1 with a 3. That's defender lose 2. So he can lose those 2. But because that is the withdraw, there are still Germans in the hex. because this is the last turn and that might skew things, I'm going to give the Romans a 50% chance of going in for another round. In other words, they catch. If they roll a sword on this dice, they carry on. Otherwise, that's it. That's the game. They need a sword. They don't. The Germans hold on to that village, which makes this combat moot. And I'm not going to resolve it because this video has gone on long enough. Yeah. In the end, the shields have it. The Germans hold on for 12 turns. Let's bring this back to the top. Well, that went on longer than I intended because I did those last 2 turns. That would have been another video, but it's just the turns were so quick, it was literally move 3 or 4 counters and then combat. So it went right to the wire. And the Germans effectively won by being in that final village. One more turn, the Romans would have won. Is it finally balanced? Well, in the end, it seems to be. Did my combat system work? It seemed to. Was I justified giving the Romans a final push? I thought so. If you didn't like that, there's not much I could do about that. But that's my playthrough of the first scenario. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Caesar's conquest of Gaul. He didn't quite conquer it, but there is virtually, I mean, there's still an effective 6 legion fighting force. The losses were quite a bit on the Romans, but they were on primarily the additional cohorts and eventually the auxilia. The Germans are down to 4 counters. But that's all they need to do to win. They've won the game. They lost the war. My final thoughts. I'll probably never do this scenario again. But then again, I don't think you're supposed to. I think it's designed purely as a moving bods on the board, learn how to move the bods on the board, and learn how to fight the actual battles. I hope there's going to be a lot more meat in the second scenarios moving forward. Looking at the rules, there are rules in scenario 2. There are rules for crossing the Rhine, building bridges, and activating different German tribes. And there's only 4 legions, not 6. But there's 15 turns. So I'm going to do the second scenario. I don't know when, probably January, maybe February. But I don't want to do it too late so that I forget everything. Because when you get to my age, you start to forget everything. I don't think there's much more for me to add. It did what exactly it said on the tin. It introduced me to the system. It got me playing it. I had to think, for the Romans, can they get there in time? For the Germans, they can't really counterattack, but all they can do is provide threat in areas. So, you know, at the end of the day, 2 legions were effectively up the north half of the map, out of the final running in the south. The 6 legions was not quite enough. The Germans held on. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Did I keep going, did I enjoy it? Yes, I did. Otherwise, I would have stopped halfway through. I just wanted more. I was anticipating more. And I think the following scenarios will give more. I hope. I don't like big stacks. I can't think of a way to get round of it. I thought of having off-map holding boxes, but I don't like off-map holding boxes. They irritate me. Maybe Romans having, you know, counters having step reduction might have done it, but, you know, back in the day when this came out, that wasn't really a thing. So big stacks it is. You know, when you're talking 2 legions plus 4 or 5 Germans in there, you know, yeah. I haven't seen as big stacks like that for a long time. But then again, this is an age game. Anything, obviously, gotchas that I did, put it down in the comments. Did you enjoy the game? Let me know. Put it in the comments. Any comment will do. You know, I read, I respond. And again, any tweaks on that combat method, let me know, because then I'll introduce it. But until next time, have fun, play games, buy internet,